Saltaire Helles.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I've got one here today from Yorkshire. And it's the first one I've tried from the Saltaire Brewery. Now I've seen some of their stuff before in Morrison's and I think it was pale ale. But it looked, this is how superficial I am, you should know this by now, but the label just looked really cheap and very simplistic, and I moan when people put too much on a label, but it just didn't appeal to me looks wise. I know that is fucking shallow and stupid, but it didn't. And then I was having a discussion the other day with a mate of mine, and he was saying he was going up to Yorkshire and he was naming off a few. He's a beer fan as well, and he was naming off a few Yorkshire brewers, and he happened to mention Saltaire, and he said they were quite good. And I said, I remember seeing some of their stuff in Morrison's, but I've never really got the opportunity to buy it. Well, I did get the opportunity, I just didn't fucking bother. And I was mooching about today in Morrison's. I don't normally go shopping on a Sunday, but it was a choice of doing the garden or doing the shopping. So I got the missus doing the garden and I went shopping. Result. And they do have their uses when you marry them, I tell you. She's going to fucking murder me if she sees this. If I start talking with an high voice, you know she's chopped my knackers off. Anyway, I saw this Helles stuff in there. Now, again, as I say, the Saltaire stuff didn't really appeal to me, and it was competing with a load of Hofbrau stuff that was on the shelf. But on the label, I picked it up, and on the label it says proper Bavarian lager, Helles, 6 weeks cold conditioned, brewed and bottled in Yorkshire. So I thought that's a bold claim, and they're one of these breweries. They're like a craft brewer, basically. They've been going since 2003. They were founded by an industrial chemist, would you believe, and one of his mates, and they were on a brewing course and they decided to go into partnership, and Saltaire is the result. That was 17, 18 years ago, and they're really successful. They do cider, they do a lot of beer, mostly pale ales. That's what was putting me off, was the pale ales. And they use a lot of American hops in their pale ales, and they call them Amarillo pale ale, citrus, Cascade pale ale, etc. And that sort of put me off a little bit as well. But they also do cider. They even do bar snacks as well. So they've gone from being like a very small concern. At the moment, as of 2021, I think it's 5 million pints of beer a year, which is no mean feat for a relatively small brewer, and they're available in the supermarkets. Their bar snacks, they do salted peanuts, which I think I may have had actually. They were really nice, and they're available in Morrison's. The beer's available in Morrison's, so it's one of the success stories. Now I always say that with a bit of a caveat, because I imagine when you're getting your stuff into the supermarket, your profit margin is very, very low, or lower than it is normally, because you have to make a profit and the supermarket have to make a profit as well. So I imagine the margins for the brewer are very slim. So that's why I picked this up. But I also picked it up as well because they're saying proper Bavarian lager, and I've seen this so many times with craft brewers when they say, oh, they're brewing a Helles. They don't make any reference to Bavaria, they just call their beer a Helles. And you taste it, and it tastes like bang average lager at best in a 330ml can, which you're paying a lot of money for. I will say there's a couple of brewers. No, there isn't, because I can't remember. Fuck, it's just gone right out of my head. I remember starting this video, and I was thinking I must mention this brewery who done a can of Helles. They called it Helles. No, it's gone. Based up in Norfolk. Oh, what the fuck was their name? Or is it Suffolk? No, Norfolk. They're based in Norfolk. I can't remember the name. I think it begins with C. But I remember speaking to the owner on a web chat type thing. I was saying, why are you calling your beer dark lager in Helles? Why not call it lager? And he went into some rant about you don't call lasagna fucking vegetable pie, and it's like, oh, fucking hell. Yeah, let's not go then. Let's not go into a rant. So let's see if this really is in the style of a Bavarian Helles. .500ml bottle, 5%. There is no brew sheet on this. It says on the side, it says a clean, crisp lager in the classic German style, bright golden colour. It's full body and its perfect balance of delicate hops and malty sweetness with a satisfying dry finish. To be enjoyed anytime, anywhere. Proper Bavarian lager. 6 weeks cold conditioned. What does that mean? 6 weeks cold conditioned means it's lagered, it's stored, and it ferments in the fermentation tank, and all the nasties are let go, and you end up with what's known as lager. In German, of course, lager means to store. So you would store the beer, let it ferment, and then sell it. Macro brewers don't really do that. I've heard Foster's is about 14 hours lagering, and then it's out on the shelves. That's why it tastes like a bag lady's period. Proper lager, as they say, should be stored for weeks and then let go. Sometimes even months. Some German brewers do it for months, and yeah, you get good results. But anyway, let's get it open and let's see what's going on. Right, this is chilled. It's coming out of the fridge. The cap's just plain brass, nothing to see here. If you hear a cat meowing, that's the cat wanting to go out. He's a fucking idiot. I've just let him in. Honestly, cats just do it to test you, to see if you're still their servants or not. They take the fucking piss, man. His name's Loki, and he fucking lives up to that name and always a proper little mischief maker. You can't leave food down with him. He's an absolute nightmare. Well, that's a bit sulphury, so I'm going to let it settle down for a bit. Right, there's a fair bit of carbonation in it. I'm drinking it out of a Weiss beer glass, but that's all right for a Helles. My other Helles glass is in ye olde dishwasher at the moment. It smells quite bready, a little bit of sulphur on it. A little bit of lemon citrus and earthiness to it too. I'd love to know what hops they put in here. But I'm getting some quite fresh bread type aromas from it. Smells reasonably promising, not too bad. Let's get it down the hatch. Bottoms up. I wouldn't really say that's a Bavarian Helles. Not in the true style of a Bavarian. Now, they've not just said it's a German style Helles, they've said it's Bavarian. If it's Bavarian, then you need to step up to the mark, and this doesn't. There's a weird taste on it. I don't know what it is, but it ain't nice. There's no big liquid bread type finish, and it's not. It just tastes like a very, very average lager, and this is coming back to my point about craft lagers. You know, that they've, even with the marketing now, a true Bavarian Helles. Nah. Nope. In no way. I'm not even comparing it with the big six, their Helleses. It just doesn't have the malt. doesn't have the noble hop character on there either. It just tastes like a bang average lager, and if I didn't know better, I'd say it was macro brewed. What is that taste? It's not nice. It's like a almost plasticky type taste. Now, I found something out the other day. Even German brewers do this. They use something called PVPP, I think it's called, and it's basically a clarifying agent. So what do I mean by a clarifying agent? Well, if you've heard of isinglass, that is the fish bladder that certain English brewers use, and they use it to get rid of any sediment, any cloudiness in a beer. So it comes out basically looking like that, super clear, no haze to it at all. Certain German brewers, not all, there's a few, they will use that PVVP, which is as I say, it's a clarifying agent. It's basically vinyl, and when I say vinyl, I mean the plastic stuff, and it smells. If you've ever heard of the glue, there's a glue that used to be out. I haven't seen it so much now, but years ago it was quite prevalent. It was called Juhu. Juhu in German means owl, believe it or not. But oh no, it means eagle owl. That's right, eagle owl. The agent that they use smells of that glue, and it would do because it's plastic, but it's a clarifying agent, so it clears any sediment, any residue. It gets rid of that. They will put that beer out as being brewed under the Reinheitsgebot using the 4 main ingredients, and they can do that because when the product is released, that agent is not in the beer, or it's not part of the ingredients, even though it's been used. So when people say German beers are chemical free, I've said this before, and this Reinheitsgebot, fucking, it looks good, it's a good marketing tool, and that's all it is at the moment. But that is used in German beer, and as you know, with the Reinheitsgebot, there was a reformation of it in 1992, and also if beer is being exported to Europe, certainly from Bavaria, then they can put some additives in there, as long as it's not sold in Germany. So what you're getting over here, I wouldn't say I have no evidence to prove it, but I question that it would, if you get that really, really sweet taste off a beer. There is a possibility there could be some glucose sugar or some sweetening agent in there. But there you go. I mean, it still tastes fucking great, so I'm not complaining, but that's a little bit of a marketing sort of gimmick that isn't really true. Speaking of which, this proper Bavarian lager, nah, it really ain't. I'd love to know what lager you've copied to try and come up with this, because there's something in this that I don't like. It has the light mouthfeel of a Bavarian Helles, I will say that. They have got that right. But I have no evidence to prove this, but I wonder if they've used some English hops. Well, they'll certainly be English grown hops. But there isn't the characteristic liquid bread that I would expect from a Bavarian Helles. I'm beginning to think there's almost a very, very slight trace of American New World style hops in here. I could be wrong, but I'm getting, I mean, obviously there's lemon citrus in most lagers from the noble hops that get put in there, the Sarts hops and stuff like that. But there is something that's not right, and it's certainly not a Bavarian Helles. So now we've established that, as a lager on its own, what is it like? It's not bad. It's drinkable. Quite a nice light mouthfeel. The finish on it, it just doesn't compare to any of the big 6 Bavarian brewers, which I sort of guessed anyway. But it just doesn't really stand out for me. It really doesn't. I think it needs more malt character in this and the longer finish, the finish is just not there. But it's not a bad lager, I will say that, and it's certainly better than, you know, your macro brewed stuff. Even though it does taste slightly macro brewed, I wouldn't say it tastes like it. It's got the character of it, and what do I mean by that? Well, it's got nothing to distinguish it, and macro brews have bad flavours that distinguish it. In my opinion, they have bad flavours, or inferior flavours, I should say, not bad flavours, inferior flavours. And this is what this is reminding me of. Nah, it's not doing it for me. I'm questioning what hops they've used in there. I'm starting to think they've used some English hop, or very, very small amounts of some English hop in there, because I'm getting very faintly reminded of that being a golden ale of some description, and I think I'm getting that because there's some English hop notes in there. But as a lager, it's just okay. That's as far as I'm going to go. So, what's the verdict on Saltaire proper Bavarian Helles lager? It's not proper Bavarian lager. I mean, it can't be proper Bavarian lager. It's fucking brewed over here. So, if they'd have said Bavarian style lager, yeah, that would have been more accurate. 6 weeks cold condition, yep, I don't doubt that. Possibly brewed and bottled in fucking Yorkshire. Yep, I don't doubt that either. Oh, it's disappointing because of the label, what they've put on the label. If they called this, I don't know. I tried that Yorkshire lager the other day. That was nice. If they'd have done something like that, then my mindset would have been different, and I would have said this is quite a nice lager. Because they've given it the big one with the Bavarian stuff on here, I think they've shot themselves in the foot. But I tried that C84, the Yorkshire lager, the other day, and I'm not sure what all of this stuff is going to go up in, but that was a fantastic lager. And I wouldn't say it would give Sam Smith's a run for the money, because Sam Smith is obviously brewed on a much bigger scale, but it was good. I mean, really good. I really did enjoy that. This stuff, not so much. So, in fact, I'm a bit disappointed, because I probably wouldn't have bought that if it didn't say, you know, all the Bavarian bollocks on there. If you're used to Paulaner, if you're used to Hofbrau, if you're used to Löwenbräu, that's that kind of thing, and then you have this, it's just not going to cut the mustard. It really ain't. So on that alone, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. If you want a reasonably average tasting lager, then fill your boots. Your average lager drinker will lap that up and it'll be fine, but I'm disappointed, I have to say. I bought this under false pretences, and yeah, you're going to get 6 out of 10 for that. Sorry, Saltaire, this is the first one I've had from theirs, and maybe I should try their ales and see how that goes. But your lager, get rid of the Bavarian thing. It ain't working. Or reconsider the recipe. Get some more malt in there. Go to Germany, see how they do it. Try and nick some of their yeast for starters. And yeah, get in touch with Iinga. Do what Sam Smith's done. Get in touch with Iinga. Sort out a partnership. Look at them now. They've got the organic lager, and it's one of the best. Well, in my opinion, it is one of the, if not the best lager, British brewed lager ever. I think. I don't think there's one to beat it. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, you've not got this right, unfortunately, in my opinion. I know you can. If anyone from Saltaire is watching it, they're probably fucking spitting out their Yorkshire puddings and, well, I'm coming down to fucking Southern bash that fucking Southern bastard. But yeah, there you go. 6 out of 10, recommended with a lot of caution. And remember, beer is working class champagne.